Hey friends, welcome back to She's in Her Element. If you're new here, my name is Sean and welcome to my home. I am so excited to continue my Canuary Chronicles. I'm really going to see just how much I can do in the month of January to build myself up the canning stockpile that I have goals and aspirations to achieve, and I will get there. Bet yourself on that one. Let's see. Thought about doing beef stew and chicken stew, but it's really, 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 really cold outside. We just got 10 inches of snow last night and yesterday. I don't want to go outside and do any type of pressure canning, so I'm actually going to do water bath canning today, and that I can actually do on my stove, no problem at all. So I tried to think of what would I like to try for water bath. And honestly, it was not a hard decision. Cowboy candy is what instantly came to my mind. And look, I have jalapeno peppers. So this will be easy enough to do. There's a multitude of recipes out there. I watched Becky from Acre Homestead make hers. She omitted the turmeric and the garlic. Hers still sounded amazing. I watched Rachel from that 1870s homestead make hers. She used the garlic and the turmeric, and she did something different with hers, which actually super appealed to me as well. I am not a big pepper eater. I am a super picky eater, and that's one of my goals for 2022 is to try new foods that I just wouldn't try before, because it really doesn't make sense. I love the taste of peppers. I love the flavor in my food. It's all like a texture thing for me. So I'm really going to try to overcome that this year, and fingers crossed I will. I don't know. It's a goal. Gotta have goals. It's another goal. So Rachel, when Rachel was making hers, instead of just slicing the peppers into rings, she diced them. And I think I might like it better diced, because then it's not, a whole big diameter ring per se, but small little pieces of it that maybe that will work for me. I'm not sure, to be honest, but that's what I'm going to go with, and that's what I'm going to try and see how that goes. Now, the only disappointing thing to making cowboy candy is it has to sit for a minimum of 2 weeks, but it's best if it sits for 4 weeks. So we're going to go with the 4-week sitting session to let it come to flavor, I guess, if you will. I've also heard that, the peppers kind of perk back up a little bit in that time. So yeah, I'm gonna make it and then wait the 4 weeks. And then when I actually do try it, I'm gonna bring you guys back for that as well, so that you can see my genuine, real reaction. And if I don't like it, I'm gonna tell you I don't like it. And if I love it, I'm gonna tell you I love it. Because I'm just so picky, and I'm tired of being picky. I want to eat more foods because I'm such a foodie. It's insane. Like, I love to cook, and I just don't make, steak, potato, and a vegetable. I like to gourmet cook. I like to make pork chops in like a creamy mustard sauce, or a spinach sauce for my chicken. All different things. I just like to switch it up for my husband, and I really enjoy cooking, so I want something more than just basic and simple. So, that being said, we are now going to try the jalapeno pepper, and we're going to make some cowboy candy. Also, I want to apologize for the last video that I put up, which was the bourbon chicken. I do not know what went wrong. The editing came out perfect sound-wise. When it was uploading, it was perfect sound-wise. And then all of a sudden, the sound wasn't there. I sound like I'm lisping or something. I'm not sure. But I do apologize. So now I'm actually using a brand new camera that I got, and I'm hoping that the quality of this is superb. Looks good so far from what I can see, and that's another thing, I can see it. So please let me know how the quality of this came out, so I can make sure I'm on the right track and, you know, not sounding like Donald Duck or Peppa Pig or that annoying little girl. What's her name? Oh, Masha and the Bear. Not a fan. And unfortunately, Rosie really loves it, so I watch a lot of Masha and the Bear. But anyways, we are going to do Cowboy candy today, indoors, because I can water bath it. Like I said, it's too cold outside. I want to stay in here, so meet you in the kitchen. All right, let's do this. Again, we are making Cowboy candy. We're handling jalapenos. I don't know if these gloves are going to work with my diamond ring. They usually go right through everything, but we will see. Yeah, not bad. I am putting gloves on because these are jalapeno peppers, and you just don't want all of this on your skin. You don't want to touch your eyes. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove all of the stems from all of the jalapenos, and then I am going to put them through the food processor to slice them, and then I'm going to give them a nice little rough chop to kind of dice them. So I'm just going to get all of these tops right off. Pepper down. Kind of really excited to try this. Heard nothing but good things about this. I've heard it's very addicting. I've heard that people who don't even like peppers really enjoy this. There's a myriad of ways that you can actually use them, so that will be exciting to try. And yeah, just gonna dice all these up. And just like with anything else canning, if you see something that maybe just doesn't look too appealing to you, cut it off. You don't want to can up anything bad. So yeah, just cut it off. How's the weather where you're all at today? I hope it's much warmer than it is here. It is nice to see the snow though. We haven't had a white Christmas in, gosh, I don't even know how many years. And I know it's not Christmas, but I still enjoy the first couple of snowfalls each year. And this is basically the first one. And I'm dying to get out there and go sledding with Ryder and Rosie. So hopefully we'll be able to get some of that done this week. We'll see. And I know I definitely want to make an igloo with them too. Ryder has been designing the igloo and how it will look, and just making some great plans. So another trick that I like to do and always have is I like to keep a bowl to put my trash in. It's just easier than constantly running to the trash. You can just clean up as you go. And I'm not worrying, so you gotta be very careful. I have an itch. Don't touch your face. I'm not taking the seeds out of these peppers. I saw that it's fine to leave them in there, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm sure that's part of the flavor as well. I don't know much about peppers. I'm learning. They're on my list to grow, which, speaking of, I actually really need to start thinking about that list and start prepping for spring, so I can get my flower beds built and planted. I'll probably start a whole bunch from in the house from seedlings and then transplant them. we'll have to see. But I'm really excited to actually grow food. Because right now, everything that I'm canning is nothing that I've grown. I don't have a garden. I haven't had a garden. All of my produce, it does come from Elliott Farms, which is an amazing farm in Lakeville, Mass. If you live near us and you are looking for a really good farm with some seriously delicious produce, as well as specialty items like butter and cheeses and milk, look no further than Elliott Farms. They're located in Lakeville, Mass, I believe on Route 105. They're amazing. Hands down, the best. I love them. So, that's where my produce comes from for the most part. Except for this. This obviously did come from the grocery store. But my corn, I won't buy corn from anybody but Elliott Farms. I'm going to try my hand in growing some corn this year. So, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Alright, so I'm just going to finish dicing up all of my jalapenos, and then I'll bring you back when it's time to put them in the food processor and slice them up. The peppers, I've removed all the stems off them, and there's one thing I do want to make sure I mention to you. In the ends that you cut off, there's still a ton of seeds and stuff in there. So I am going to actually save this bowl, and I am going to try to harvest as much of the seeds out of here as I can so that I can let them dry, and then this will be part of my garden this year, I'm hoping. I've done this to a few seeds already. I have them ready and waiting to go, so I will be excited to add some jalapeno peppers to this. So always save, if you can get your own seeds from your own produce to grow, I just think that's way better. And there is a ton of seeds in here. I just don't want to waste them. So, first things first. This one. Two peppers in. Place it down. I'm going to actually put a few of them in. Does a really good job. I actually love my little food processor. It's a KitchenAid. It's getting a little bit wiggly. But I was thinking about actually buying the attachment to go on my KitchenAid mixer. But I just can't see doing it if I have something that works really good now. Alright, so the only downfall to this is it only holds so much, and I do have to stop every now and then so that I can empty this bowl to get more peppers in. So I'm just going to keep doing that until I get all of my peppers sliced up, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, so what I ended up doing was I used my food processor again, and I just ran the slices through with just the regular blade, and it diced them up really, really, really nice, and that's exactly what I wanted, and it saved me all of that hard work, so I'm good with it. So I'm going to double this recipe because the original recipe says it will make between 4 and 6 half pints, and I want to double it. I want to get like 8 to 10 out of there. We'll have to see. So I'm going to take my giant, I love this, Home Goods, 10 bucks, giant mason jar, and it calls for 3 cups. So I'm going to put the 6 in because we are doubling. So let me get this in. A lot. Two. 3. 4. 5. 6. Wow, that's a lot of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. Get this out of the way. And, all right, so we've got 6 in there. It calls for 2 cups of apple cider vinegar. We are going to double that. We're going to get our 4 cups in. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Isn't apple cider vinegar just like one of the wonders of the world? The healing properties, everything inside of it, it's just so healthy and good for you. Okay, I've got these cider vinegar, the white sugar, and don't worry because I will link this recipe in the description for you. And then you can double it or triple it or however you want to do it for however much you want to make. So, sugar, cider vinegar, it calls for turmeric, a half a teaspoon. We're going to double that and do 1 teaspoon. Doesn't fit. Let's get a half of a teaspoon measure. Here we go. One, 2. It calls for a half a teaspoon of celery seed per recipe. So we're going to add 2 of those. 1, 2. It calls for a teaspoon of cayenne. Again, we're going to double that so it'll be 4. So here's 1, 2. And then for the garlic powder, it calls for 3 tablespoons, and because we're doubling it, we're going to put 6 in. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is all the ingredients. So, let's get this here. Give this a little stir. And it says that we need to bring it to a rolling boil. Once it comes to a rolling boil, I'm going to reduce the heat and we're going to let it simmer real good for 5 minutes. When that's done, I'm going to raise the heat. I'm going to bring it back to a rolling boil again. I'm going to reduce and simmer for exactly 4 minutes. It stresses that exactly, like do not go over, not 4.1, 4.2, 3.9. No, 4 minutes exactly. All right, we got all of our ingredients in here. What I am going to do now is put it on the stove. It says that I'm going to bring it to a rolling boil. I'm going to reduce the heat and simmer for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to raise the heat to boiling again. I'm going to add the peppers and I'm going to bring it back to a hard rolling boil, reduced to a simmer for exactly 4 minutes. So let me get this on the stove and I'll bring you right back. Okay, got it in the pan on the stove. It's heating up. I can feel the sugars actually breaking down really, really good. I'm so cold, I need a sip of my coffee. So I just am really excited to try this. My husband came in and said, "Whoa, who's eating all that?" And I said, "You are, my man, you." And he laughed and said, "Challenge accepted." He's really good about trying new things, which I love. So I need to get better. I'm trying. That's my goal. Are you guys canning anything today? I bet somebody is somewhere. I can smell the turmeric, I can smell the celery seed, the garlic powder, and the cayenne pepper. And what I'm doing as I'm stirring it is I'm also scraping the edges just to get all that seasoning back down, because it will stick to the sides of your pan as you're cooking. So, just a little tip from me to you. And I also want to make sure I let you know that while I'm doing all this, my jars are in the oven. The oven is set at about like 220. I washed them, nice hot soapy water, cleaned them up real good, washed the lids, washed the rings, put my jars in the oven to heat up. That's how you sterilize them. The USDA says you do not have to sterilize your rings anymore. I still like to put them in hot water, let them sit, and use them from there. So my jars are going and will be ready when all of this is ready. It's like the bonus to being able to do this on my stove and not have to run outside is everything's right here. And it's pretty amazing because, let me turn you to show you, I cleaned up my mess. My kitchen just is not a good kitchen. I do not have counter space. I do not have storage space. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This was the worst design ever. Can't wait to finish and fix it. Still not sure what stove I'm gonna get. I am still looking at the Vikings. This, as you can see, is like a cooktop range, and my oven is the wall oven. This is all coming out and a real range is going in here. So it'll be the stovetop in the oven, and then I will have counter space that continues down and then down that wall. And I need it. You have to have, for someone who loves to cook, you really, really, really need a well-appointed kitchen. You need the space. I have to put so much stuff on my dining room table to move it when I want to cook like this. And then you have to clean it up, and then it just irritates me because my house is a mess and I hate it. So I'm really excited to get this kitchen remodel underway. But again, it's not going to happen till spring. Patience is a virtue that I just don't have, but I'm learning. I'm learning. So, all right, this is coming to temp. Again, I will bring you back. I'm going to let it come to the rolling boil, reduce it. I'm going to let it simmer for 5 minutes, and then I will bring you back when I add the peppers to that. So I'll see you in just a little bit. Okay, it's just started my timer for the 5 minutes. It is boiling really good, but what I'm doing is I am going to constantly stir this, because if you don't, this is all going to boil over. It came up pretty high before I was able to get my stirrer in there. So you want to continue to stir it while it's doing this, just so it doesn't go everywhere in your kitchen, because that would not make me happy. Do you know, number one, how hot this is with the sugar, but number two, how sticky everything would be? I would cry. I will be honest. I would cry. So, all right, got this simmering for the 5 minutes. I'm going to continue to stir. Once the 5 minutes is up, I'm going to bring it back up to a rolling boil. I'm going to add the peppers, and I'm going to boil it hard for exactly the 4 minutes. So I'll bring you back when it's time for the peppers. Remember, don't stop stirring. You will have a big mess. Okay, the timer just went off. Let me turn this down. And now I'm going to add my peppers. But I do not want to splash this up on myself, so I'm gonna just add them using a spoon. I really don't want to burn myself. Maybe now I can add. It won't splash up now that I've got a basin there, I'm hoping. Let's see. I know you can't see what I'm doing, I'm sorry. Try to turn it the other way for you. It does work. Once you get a little base of them in there using a spoon, then you actually can dump it in and it won't splash up on you, which is great. Stir this up. Now what does it say to do? Add peppers. Bring to a hard rolling boil. Reduce the heat and simmer for exactly 4 minutes. Now it's going to take a hot minute for this to come back up to a boil because the peppers were not the temperature of the water, so it's cooled it down, I'm sure. Waiting for this to come to a rolling boil is about as long as waiting for the pressure canner to come up to pressure and PSI. The peppers really do bring it down once you put them in. So, I have no idea what that was. I'm not sure at all what just happened there. I feel like there was something under there and the heat got to it, but I'm not sure. It's kind of scary. I'm just going to take care of this, keep my distance a little bit. I'll bring you back when we're ready to jar these up. Now I'm a little nervous to stand here. It's starting to boil, so it won't be that much longer. I'll see you in a minute. Don't stick your face in there to smell, by the way. You'll blind yourself between the jalapeno and the cayenne pepper. I just did it a second ago and had to literally run away because I had a sneezing fit and my eyes were burning. So don't do it. All right, Cowboy candy is ready to be jarred. The jars are good and hot. I have everything I need right here. How many times am I going to burn myself today? Want to take bets? Not actually that bad. It says to use a slotted spoon to fill up our jars because you want to get most of the jalapeno in there and then go back and add the juice to it. So that's what I'm going to do. Drain it good. Get it in there. I'm going to actually also grab a spoon to help me. And with this you want to have, what did it say? The headspace was 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch. So we know that the bottom ring right here gives us 1. So we'll add just a teeny little bit more. And that will put us to the 1/2 inch headspace. And what I'm going to do is fill all my jars first, then go back and add the liquid to them. Not happy with this jar funnel. I got to get a different one. This came with a kit. You know, I thought, yay, I got one. And I just really don't like it. I need to find a different one. Do you have any suggestions for me? Which kind I should get? What is a better one that stays in the jar, doesn't flop out? This does smell really good. Push that down. What's everybody making for dinner tonight? I think I'm going to treat my husband to a pizza. I don't want to cook tonight. You ever get in those moods sometimes you just don't want to cook? It's kind of the mood I'm in now. And there is something beeping in my house. I don't know if you can hear it or not. If you can, I apologize. Right there. I have no idea what it is. I cannot find this. It's driving me nuts. Like, I've never heard it before. It doesn't sound like a fire alarm or a smoke detector that needs a new battery. It just is beeping from somewhere, and I've never heard it before. A teeny bit more. Canning is such a messy process, but so worth it. Now, from what I understand when I was watching this be made yesterday again, you can actually can up the juice. You do not want to throw away whatever's left of this juice because you can add it to so many different things and change the flavor up. So I'm definitely going to do that after. And I'll probably can it in pint-sized jars. And I'll do a whole separate water bath for that, just to have. But yeah, I love things that have like a double purpose. Like you get one thing from it and then you can use it for something else as well. And I did taste this brine, if you will. I don't know if it's a brine or not. But I did taste it. And it's really good. I do like it. I like the sweetness and the tanginess that it has. I just love those combinations together. Yeah. I think Rachel from that 1870s homestead said something about like you could put it on a roast. You could add it into a side for flavor. You can do a lot with it, which sounds super exciting. I love new things. I love changing things up. And I had never heard of Cowboy candy until last year when I started doing this. And as a canner, because you just have to be so safe about everything, before I even started canning anything, I dove into the education side of it. I watched so many videos, subscribed to so many different channels, learned from who I call the canning masters. You just don't want to think you know it all and can do it. You have to do it safely, because that botulism is no joke. And, you know, I've only been married going on 1.5 years, so I really still like my husband, and I don't want to send him to the hospital. Maybe in 20 years. No, just kidding. But yeah, you have to really follow the safe canning practices. And if you get any of this liquid on you, just know it is really sticky. All the sugar in there. This is just going to be so good. I'm going to have a really hard time waiting 4 long weeks to try this. It says you can after 2 weeks, but if I'm going to try something for the first time, I want to try it at its fullest, most flavorful moment in time. And minimally, that's 4 weeks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it in my phone so an alarm goes off. And that's so not like me because I don't use my phone to keep track of things. I am a paper girl. I like to be able to pick something up and, you know, see it and say, oh, okay. That's just how I've always been. It's how I always will stay. I don't know. I have to, something about seeing it on paper is just foolproof to me. I'm not a true electronics kind of girl. I'll be lucky if I can edit this video with this new camera. That's gonna be fun. But I will figure it out. So, let's get this jar full, and then what I'm gonna do is start adding the liquid to these. Because I can tell I'm actually running out of peppers. But what I will also do is run this through a sieve so that I can separate the juice from whatever peppers are left in here and see how much is left over. If there's not a whole lot left over, I'm just going to add it back to the juice and I'll can it up that way. But yeah, definitely running low on the peppers. Let's get a little more in here. Not that much more. Yeah, these jars are going to have to be wiped down really good, and you're absolutely not going to want to forget your vinegar for this part of it to clean it because it is really, really sticky. So I'm just going to use my ladle, add some liquid to it, and they're pretty full, so you're definitely going to have to bring that down, get the air bubbles out. See, that might be a little too full, so I will actually pull a little bit out. I think that looks much better. Okay, that one's good. So this one. Looks pretty, huh? That's really hot. I do this every single time. So that one might be a little too full. Let's take a little out. And let's check it again. Yeah, that's better. So once you pack these jars, you really can't get a ton of liquid in there. And you definitely need to use your fancy dancy bubble remover. And that helps bring that level down to the acceptable headspace, which again is 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch. I definitely got that. I just love learning all this. It's all new to me. And it's so satisfying and so fun knowing that I am actually putting stuff up that I could gift to people. I know a lot of people who would like to receive this Cowboy candy. I'll tell you what, I guarantee you. So I think at the end of the 4 weeks I can think of a couple of our friends that I would definitely like to have them try it. I think they would appreciate it. My daughters, I'm sure, will take some. which is fine. Let's see, a little bit of there. Okay, let me see what is left in here. Well, there's definitely enough to get into another jar, so let me do that right now. I'm just gonna fill it. Use a spoon. Tap it down. Pretty good. Broth. Okay. Now, I probably could do one more jar with all this, but I think I'm gonna do one more jar. That's a lot. I'll be right back. Okay, so I ended up getting 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 half pints of the Cowboy candy, and I got 4 pints of the juice. Now, because this is a water bath, the half pints are only going to be in the water bath for 10 minutes. Then the pints can go in for 15. So I don't mind doing 2 batches. It's actually not a whole lot of stuff. But what I have is my vinegar and my paper towel to clean the rings. But I also have a wet paper towel to wipe the jars down after, because this is super, super sticky. Super sticky. Like very, very sticky. So, let's get our vinegar. And I'm gonna wipe these jars really, really good. You don't want any sugar, nothing. You want these nice and clean. This is a very important part. You don't want to mess with your seal. So, and because of all the sugar in this, that could really go wrong. So we definitely want to make sure that we clean them really good. Excuse me. And I like to rotate my paper just to make sure I'm always using a nice clean spot. You finish cleaning all of these rims. I will get the lids on. We're going to go finger tight. I'm going to add the rest of my vinegar to my water bath. Again, it just keeps the jars from getting yucky with water stains if you have hard water. And I'm going to do 2 batches. Again, these half pints are going to water bath for 10 minutes. And when they're done, I will throw those 4 pints of juice in, and they will go for 15. So let me get everything together and get it in the canner. Okay, my jars are in there. I also have my kettle going because when you're water bathing, you want to make sure that, you don't run out of water and then it doesn't go down below the top of the jars. So I have that just in case I need it. Once this gets up to a boil again, 10 minutes, done. Easy peasy. Wish I could figure out what that popping sound was, but I have no idea. My jars are done processing. It's been 10 minutes for the half pints. I've got the pints in the same water now. I didn't need to change anything. I just boiled some more water and added it to make sure that it would cover them. And I have my beautiful jars. How pretty. Once again, my husband came in and saw me taking them out and said, "Ooh, can I have some of this tonight with my dinner?" And I said, "No." Oh, they're popping. I just love that sound. That's right up there with a cork popping from champagne. That's how I feel about that. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 half pints of Cowboy candy, all done up. 4 full pints of the Cowboy candy juice. And I'd probably say there's like, I don't know, probably 3 tablespoons of Cowboy candy in each of the pints themselves. Wasn't going to waste anything. And yeah. So now, unfortunately, we do have to wait the 4 weeks to try it, but I am going to mark it on my calendar, like I said, and I will bring you guys back for that taste test because I really am excited to try this. So, I hope you enjoyed today's Canuary Chronicles with Cowboy candy. Just love that sound. Makes me happy! Again, thank you for joining me in my house. I'm going to think of something really good to do next. Might be a stew. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll definitely bring you along for that ride too. So yeah, it was fun hanging with you. I can't wait for the next time. And please remember, don't hate. Appreciate. Let's lift each other up. It's what this world needs right now. That and some Cowboy candy. See you next time.